This is a 7-night cruise on Regent Seven Seas Grandeur from Belfast to Reykjavik via the Faroes. It starts inauspiciously. Our flight from Manchester to Belfast was cancelled and we ended up spending over 12 hours at Manchester Airport before finally getting our flight to Belfast. When we finally got to our hotel, the Voco, which is in a business park, it was quite pleasant, but we didn't really have that much time to appreciate it. Belfast Cruise Terminal is very basic, but we were soon on board and able to explore our Serenity Suite. After a day at sea, our first port is the capital of the Faroe Islands, Tórshavn, which they pronounce Tórshavn. We are on an excursion to Saxon village, about an hour's drive from Tórshavn. Here is a museum based on this 17th century farmhouse. Farm animals were kept in here and would have helped keep the rest of the house warm. Our route back takes us on the older road over the mountains. We stopped to visit this early 19th century church in Kollafjörður. The village has a memorial stone for all those lost at sea. Our next photo stop is at a former NATO radar station which has been repurposed as a prison. Arriving back at Tórshavn, there's our ship there in the harbour. Our next stop was Heimi in the Westman Islands off the south coast of Iceland. We were due to go on a tour entitled Pompeii of the North to explore some of the volcanic effects on the island. But there was a heavy swell and the captain felt that the conditions were not safe for tendering. Eventually, a safer spot was found by the entrance to the harbour. This would have involved our tour running very late, so we decided not to go. But we did have great views of the island's bird life. We think these are guillemots. Ísafjörður was as far north as we got on this cruise. The sun set here about midnight and rose again about 2 hours later. P&O's Britannia was docked before us. We are on an excursion to visit an abandoned village. An hour's boat ride brings us to Hesturi. This was a whaling station and never had a population exceeding about 80. the last residents finally left in the 1950s. This building is now the Tourist Information Office, and it was closed. This used to be the village doctor's house and is now a cafe, where we had a very welcome cup of coffee and warm pancakes and other delights, all included. The brown chimney is the last remnant of the whaling station. This area is now a nature reserve. Time to reboard our boat and head back to the ship. Heading south, our next port is Grundarfjörður. This was scheduled to be a tender port, but in fact we are berthed alongside, which is good. Fishing is the big industry here and the reason for the village's existence. We're not on an organised excursion today, so we just get off the ship and wander around. The Valeria Cafe roasts its own Colombian coffee. 2 coffees and a cinnamon bun, £18. Kirkafell Mountain is the local landmark. It featured in Game of Thrones as Arrowhead Mountain. This is the local craft market. And the church, which was closed. Time to head back on board. Final destination, Reykjavik. We're here for a full day before disembarkation, and we've decided to take the ship's city tour. The Pearl is a museum based on 6 hot water tanks. The hot water comes from Iceland's natural geothermal activity. It is used to provide heating around the city. The Natural History Museum was opened in 1991. It uses 2 of the repurposed water tanks, the other 4 are still in use. The viewing platform provides panoramic views of Reykjavik and the surroundings. There is Hallgrímskirkja, where we will be going next. Reykjavik City Airport only used for domestic flights. International flights go from Keflavik, about 50 kilometers away. The statue of Leif Erikson in front of Hallgrímskirkja. The Lutheran church was built between 1945 and 1986. Entirely made of concrete, it's the tallest building in Reykjavik. The old town, which we didn't have time to visit. Árbæjar is an open-air museum where buildings of different ages from around Reykjavik have been gathered together. After disembarkation the following morning, we took the transfer coach to Keflavik Airport and checked into the airport hotel. We got a taxi to the nearby Viking World Museum. This displays a full-size working model of a Viking longship. In 2000, this ship was sailed from Greenland to Newfoundland to replicate Leif Erikson's voyage 1,000 years earlier. And this is that ship arriving in Newfoundland in 2000. And bright and early next morning, we're in the bag drop queue at Keflavik Airport. It wasn't as bad as it seems.